Welcome back to Beyond Belief, the channel where we explore the mysterious and unexplained corners of our world. Today we journey through New Hampshire's most chilling locations. Number 10, Star Island. Nestled off the coast of New Hampshire lies Star Island, part of the Isles of Shoals. This small island, with its rich history and natural beauty, has captivated visitors for centuries. Its name, derived from its star-like shape as seen from above, has been home to various communities since 1623. From bustling fishing villages to a serene summer resort, Star Island's past is as varied as it is intriguing. Yet beneath its picturesque surface lies a darker, more mysterious side. A reputation as one of the most haunted places in New England. Star Island was first settled by fishermen in the early 17th century. By the 1700s, the village of Gosport was established, thriving with families and a vibrant community. However, during the Revolutionary War, the residents were asked to leave due to suspicions about their loyalty to the American colonies. After the war, only a few returned, and the once bustling village never regained its former prosperity. In the 1800s, the island transformed into a summer resort. The Oceanic Hotel, opened in this era, attracted artists, writers, and intellectuals seeking respite from the mainland's hustle. This Victorian-era hotel, one of the last of its kind in New England, remains operational today, a living relic of Star Island's glamorous past. In 1876, Star Island, along with other Isles of Shoals, was annexed to the town of Rye, New Hampshire, marking a new chapter in its storied history. Unlike many haunted places confined to a single house or room, Star Island's supernatural phenomena permeate the entire island. The eerie tales that surround this island are as captivating as they are chilling. The Oceanic Hotel, a centerpiece of Star Island, is reputed to be one of its most haunted locations. Visitors and staff alike have reported strange occurrences on the fourth floor. Furniture is heard being dragged across empty rooms, and doors mysteriously open and close on their own. Some guests have even claimed to see shadowy figures flitting through the hallways at night. The hotel's Victorian charm seems to harbor more than just memories of its glamorous past. Arguably the spookiest spot on the island is the chapel. This small, unassuming building is said to resonate with unexplained singing voices, heard echoing through its walls even when it stands empty. One of the most unsettling apparitions on Star Island is that of a large black dog with glowing red eyes. Sightings of this spectral creature are common, especially at night. Adding to the island's lore is the frequent sighting of a strange light on the horizon. Many have described it as resembling a ship on fire. Yet no explanation for this ghostly illumination has ever been found. In November of 2019, the popular television show Ghost Hunters visited Star Island to investigate its paranormal reputation. The team explored various locations, including the Oceanic Hotel and the chapel. Some phenomena were debunked, but other experiences left the investigators and viewers convinced that something unexplainable lurks on Star Island. Number 9, Kimble Castle. This historic structure, built in 1894, has captivated the imaginations of locals and visitors alike, not just for its architectural grandeur, but also for the eerie stories that surround it. Despite remaining vacant for nearly 60 years, the castle's allure and the tales of paranormal activities continue to draw attention. Now, as it prepares for a new chapter as a wedding and event venue, the legends of its ghostly residents still linger in the air. Kimble Castle was constructed by Benjamin Ames Kimble, a prominent industrialist and railroad magnate. One of the most frequently told tales involves the antique clocks that dot the castle's interior. These timepieces, silent and still for decades, have been known to suddenly spring to life. Visitors and caretakers have reported hearing the ticking of clocks and the chime of bells, even though these mechanisms have long been out of service. This phenomenon is particularly unsettling given the castle's long period of abandonment, leading many to believe that a supernatural force is at play. Another common report from those who have ventured near the castle is the inexplicable flickering of lights. Witnesses describe seeing lights turn on and off within the castle, despite there being no known power supply to the building. The most chilling aspect of the castle's haunted reputation is the sense of unease that envelops those who approach it. Visitors have often spoken of a palpable feeling of being watched, and an oppressive atmosphere that makes them feel unwelcome. Despite its haunted history, Kimble Castle is set to embark on a new journey. Recently purchased by developers, plans are underway to transform the historic site into a wedding and event venue. As Kimble Castle prepares for its next chapter, the stories of its ghostly resident and paranormal happenings continue to fascinate and intrigue. Number 8, Veen Cemetery. Nestled in the serene town of Wilton, New Hampshire, Veen Cemetery is a place steeped in history and shrouded in mystery. Its origins date back to the mid-18th century, and over the centuries, it has evolved from a small burial ground into a cemetery known for its ghostly legends and eerie atmosphere. The earliest known burial at Veen Cemetery is that of a 19-day-old infant named Phoebe Cram, who was interred in 1752. Perhaps the most famous and chilling tale from Veen Cemetery is that of Mary Ritter, known in local lore as the Blue Lady. Mary, who died under mysterious circumstances in 1808, has become a central figure in the cemetery's haunted reputation. There are several theories surrounding her death, each more disturbing than the last. Some say she was buried alive following a dispute with her husband, while others whisper of her being a victim of a devil worship ceremony carried out by a cult. Adding to the mystery is her son, James, who Mary claimed to have, yet there are no records or sightings of such a child. Curiously, her tombstone bears the name Mary Ritter, not Spalding, her married name further deepening the enigma. Visitors to Vale End often report seeing a pale blue haze, roughly the size of a person, hovering above Mary's grave. This apparition is most commonly observed on hazy or foggy evenings in the spring or fall, earning her the moniker the Blue Lady. Unlike traditional ghostly apparitions, the Blue Lady appears as a column of light, a spectral sentinel over her grave, perhaps still searching for peace or justice in death. The haunting of Vale End Cemetery extends beyond the Blue Lady. The grounds are notorious for draining the life out of electronic devices, with visitors frequently reporting their flashlights and cameras mysteriously failing as they wander among the tombstones. These occurrences contribute to the cemetery's reputation as a hotspot for paranormal activity. But not all spirits at Vale End are as benign as the Blue Lady. Tales of more sinister entities abound. According to folklore of the Wampanoag Nation, the cemetery is home to a Pukwudgie, a small troll-like demon spirit. This malevolent presence is said to have taken up residence in response to the massacre of Native Americans by British soldiers at Wilton. The Pukwudgie is believed to inhabit a den within the cemetery and is known for its mischievous and often harmful behavior towards humans. Vale End Cemetery stands as a testament to Wilton's rich and sometimes dark history. The stories of Mary Ritter, the Blue Lady, and the Pukwudgie continue to captivate and terrify those who venture into this historic burial ground. If you're enjoying this haunted tour, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps so much. We've got more haunted tales ahead and you won't want to miss a single one. If you have a state you'd like us to cover, drop it in the comments section below. Number 7. Oceanborn Mary House. The story of Oceanborn Mary begins in 1720 on a storm-tossed ship sailing from Ireland to America. According to legend, pirates boarded the vessel demanding valuables from the frightened passengers. The pirate captain, upon discovering that one of the women had given birth to a baby girl during the voyage, spared the lives of those on board. In a surprising act of mercy, he gifted the baby a bolt of green silk for her wedding dress and requested that she be named Mary. Mary grew up in Londonderry, New Hampshire, and eventually married James Wallace. The couple had 4 sons and a daughter. After James's untimely death, Mary moved to Henniker, where she lived out her days with her son Robert in the now famous house. Her life, marked by the early trauma of losing her father and husband to violent deaths, left an indelible mark on the property she called home. The house that Mary lived in, built in 1760, has long been rumored to be the site of her restless spirit. The legends surrounding the house are as vivid as Mary's fiery red hair and green eyes, which are said to still be seen by those who visit. One of the most enduring and macabre tales involves the kitchen's stone floor. It is said that Mary's husband James was murdered, and his body was buried beneath a large stone slab in the kitchen. This stone, part of the home's foundation, is believed to be a source of the hauntings. Visitors and previous owners have reported strange noises, cold drafts, and an eerie feeling of being watched, all seemingly emanating from this spot. Numerous guests have claimed to see the ghostly figure of a woman with bright red hair and piercing green eyes. Mary's apparition is often reported in one of the upstairs windows, where she gazes out as if waiting for someone. Others have encountered her on the main staircase, where she is said to appear when visitors first arrive, almost as if greeting them or warning them to tread carefully. Mary's presence is not believed to be malevolent. On the contrary, many who have encountered her spirit feel she lingers to protect her beloved home. Her story, filled with tragedy and strength, seems to resonate through the very walls of the house, keeping her spirit bound to the place she cherished. Number 6. The Notchland Inn. Built in the 1920s, the inn itself is a picture of rustic elegance, offering guests a tranquil escape in the midst of breathtaking natural beauty. However, it is not the inn's storied walls that hold the secrets of its haunted past, but rather the land on which it stands, a land steeped in legend and sorrow dating back to the 18th century. The haunting of Notchland Inn is intimately tied to the tragic story of Nancy Barton, a tale that dates back to 1778. Nancy, a young woman deeply in love, discovered that her fiancé had been unfaithful to her. Heartbroken and determined to confront him, She set out on foot during a fierce snowstorm, braving the treacherous elements in a desperate attempt to reach him. Tragically, Nancy never made it. She succumbed to the cold, her lifeless body found on the very grounds where the Notchland Inn now stands. This tale of love, betrayal, and a tragic end has given rise to the belief that Nancy's restless spirit still roams the area, unable to find peace. Her story has been passed down through generations, becoming an indelible part of the local lore and the identity of the Notchland Inn. Visitors to the Notchland Inn have long reported eerie encounters that they believe are the work of Nancy's ghost. The most common phenomenon involves messages written in the steam on bathroom mirrors. Guests often describe seeing words and phrases appear on the glass, seemingly out of nowhere, as if Nancy is trying to communicate from the other side. These mysterious messages range from simple, comforting notes to more personal and haunting words. Some guests have reported seeing their own names spelled out, while others have encountered pleas for help or expressions of sorrow. The messages appear fleetingly, vanishing as quickly as they come, leaving guests with a sense of unease and wonder. Nancy's presence is not limited to the steam on mirrors. Some guests have felt a cold, ghostly touch, as if Nancy herself is brushing past them in the corridors of the inn. Others have heard soft, mournful whispers in the night, echoing the sorrow and longing of a woman who died in the pursuit of love. There are even accounts of a spectral figure glimpsed in the grounds surrounding the inn, a shadowy form that disappears as soon as it is noticed. Despite these eerie occurrences, Nancy's ghost is often perceived as a benign presence. Those who have felt her touch or seen her messages describe a sense of sadness rather than fear, as if Nancy's spirit is still searching for solace or closure. The land where she died, now the home of the Notchland Inn, seems to hold her spirit, tethering her to the place where her life ended so abruptly. Number 5. Colonial Theater. Constructed in 1914, this historic venue has hosted countless plays, films, and community events, drawing audiences with its old-style marquee and nostalgic allure. However, beneath its beautifully restored facade lies a darker, more mysterious presence that has intrigued visitors and staff for decades. The Colonial Theater's rich history is marked by its role as a cultural hub for over a century. From the golden age of silent films to the vibrant live performances of today, the theater has been a beacon for artists and audiences alike. Extensive renovations in recent years have revitalized the venue, preserving its classic charm while introducing modern amenities. One of the most pervasive legends associated with the Colonial Theater is the presence of a sinister male spirit. This spectral figure is often reported to inhabit the balcony, where he watches over the proceedings below with an unnerving intensity. Some speculate that he may be the ghost of an actor or director from the theater's early days, unable to leave the stage and the world he once knew. His presence is said to be particularly strong during times of high activity, such as rehearsals and performances, as if drawn to the energy and excitement that once defined his life. Despite his unsettling aura, the ghost in the balcony is not entirely malevolent. Acoustic guitar music has been found to have a calming effect on him, suggesting a connection to the art form that once filled the theater. This discovery has led some to believe that he was a musician or someone deeply connected to the musical performances that graced the Colonial stage. Visitors and staff of the Colonial Theater frequently report hearing unexplained noises throughout the building. The most common of these are the slow, heavy steps that echo along the theater's staircases late in the evening. The sound of footsteps is not confined to the stairs alone. Throughout the theater, in the dimly lit hallways and behind the heavy curtains of the stage, the faint shuffle of feet can be heard. These ghostly movements suggest the restless spirits of those who once worked, performed, or even lived in the building. Number 4. Smith Hall. The story of Smith Hall began in 1908, a significant year as it marked the first time the college had a dedicated residence for women. Before Smith Hall's construction, female students who couldn't commute from home were left to find their own accommodations. Efforts to build a women's dormitory started in 1895, but were initially halted when the governor vetoed funding for the project. In a temporary fix, the college repurposed Benjamin Thompson's house for female students, only to see it destroyed by fire in 1897. Smith's contributions to the college were substantial. He donated $10,000 for scholarships in honor of his grandfather, Judge Valentine Smith, and was planning a new public library. However, on July 4, 1900, Smith died of a heart attack while boating on the Oyster River. His will included a $10,000 or around $3 million for today's construction for the library, and his widow Alice further pledged $10,000 for the creation of a women's dormitory. The most persistent tale associated with Smith Hall is that of a female ghost. Students and staff have reported seeing a young woman dressed in period attire, appearing and vanishing in the dormitory's corridors and rooms. This apparition is often linked to the building's origins as a residence for women, evoking the memory of those who once lived there. In addition to these sightings, many have heard strange footsteps in the attic, particularly at night. These unexplained sounds have fueled endless speculation about the presence of a spectral figure wandering the upper reaches of the building. Despite its modern renovations, Smith Hall retains an atmosphere that is both welcoming and eerie. Its history as a pioneering residence for female students, combined with its ghostly legends, makes it a place of intrigue and occasional unease. Number 3, Boon Island Lighthouse. Boon Island Light, constructed in 1811, is the tallest lighthouse in New England. The rocky islet it sits on measures about 700 by 300 feet, with most of it submerged at high tide. This remote location, some 6 miles from the York shoreline, has made it a challenging and often perilous post for lighthouse keepers. In the mid-1800s, Lucas Bright took up the position of first assistant keeper at Boon Island Light, bringing with him his young bride, Catherine. Life on the island was harsh and isolating, a stark contrast to the romantic allure it might have held for the couple initially. 4 months into their tenure, in December, a brutal nor'easter descended upon the island, whipping the sea into a frenzy and battering the lighthouse with massive waves. Lucas Bright, already weakened by illness, ventured out into the storm to ensure the lighthouse lamp was lit. The gale was fierce, and as Lucas fought to secure the tower's door against the tempest, a rogue wave swept him off the icy rocks and into the freezing waters. Catherine, witnessing the horror from the lighthouse, managed to grab the rope tied around her husband's waist and, with immense effort, pulled his lifeless body from the sea. Grief-stricken and alone, Catherine dragged Lucas's body into the lighthouse and laid him at the base of the tower stairs. Despite her overwhelming sorrow, she knew her duty to keep the light burning was paramount. For 5 days and nights, Catherine braved the storm, climbing the 168 steps to the lantern room to light the lamp, ensuring the safety of other mariners during the relentless storm. She sustained herself on meager rations and barely slept, staying close to her husband's frozen body, whispering words of comfort. On the 6th day, with the storm finally abating, Catherine's strength and spirit were nearly spent. The light went out as she was too exhausted and heartbroken to continue. Concerned fishermen from York, noticing the extinguished light, set out to investigate. They found Catherine on the tower's cold floor, clinging to her husband's body, her mind shattered by grief and exposure. The fishermen managed to bring her back to the mainland, but Catherine never recovered. She passed away shortly after her rescue, her life consumed by the anguish of her loss. Since that fateful storm, the legend of Catherine Bright has persisted among mariners and lighthouse keepers. Many have reported sightings of a sorrowful, ghostly woman in white roaming the rocks at dusk, or heard her mournful cries carried on the wind. Some say they've witnessed her spectral form wandering towards the lighthouse, still dutifully tending to the light as she did in life. Over the years, keepers have experienced strange occurrences within the lighthouse. Some have reported hearing unexplained knocking on doors, while others have felt an unsettling presence watching them as they performed their duties. Animals, particularly dogs, often behave erratically on the island, refusing to enter the lighthouse tower or barking at unseen entities. Boon Island Lighthouse remains a place of stark beauty and profound isolation. Her spirit, many believe, continues to watch over the lighthouse, ensuring the safety of mariners even in death. Number 2, New Hampshire State Hospital. Constructed in 1892 by Dr. Charles Bancroft, the building was initially intended as a residential dormitory for female patients. Its halls and walls, now decaying and abandoned, are steeped in the complex and often tragic history of mental health treatment in the 19th and early 20th centuries. During the 1800s, mental health care was in its infancy. There was little understanding of proper treatment, and as a result, individuals with mental illnesses often endured deplorable conditions. When the New Hampshire Asylum for the Insane was established in 1842, it was one of the first facilities in the state dedicated to the care of the mentally ill. However, the reality of life inside its walls was far from the compassionate sanctuary its name might suggest. Patients at the asylum faced a daily existence that was both bleak and monotonous. The corridors were dimly lit, and the rooms often fell into disrepair. These oppressive conditions only compounded the suffering of those who were already struggling with their mental health. In many ways, the asylum was a place where time seemed to stand still, and the days blended into one another in a haze of neglect. Given its dark history and the suffering endured by its inhabitants, it's no surprise that the Bancroft Building and the surrounding grounds are reputed to be haunted. Visitors and staff have reported hearing inexplicable sounds echoing through the empty halls. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures or felt an eerie presence that defies rational explanation. These spectral occurrences are thought to be the restless spirits of former patients, still lingering in the place where they spent their final days. The haunting atmosphere of the Bancroft building is more than just a product of its physical decay. It's a testament to the lives and struggles of the individuals who were confined within its walls. Their stories, filled with pain and longing for a life beyond the asylum, continue to echo through the corridors, a poignant reminder of a time when mental illness was little understood and poorly treated. Number 1. Mount Washington Hotel. Originally built in 1902 as the Mount Washington Hotel, this grand structure was the brainchild of Joseph Stickney, a wealthy industrialist with a vision for creating a luxurious retreat that would attract the elite from all over the world. The hotel's stunning architecture and opulent interiors quickly established it as a premier destination, offering guests breathtaking views and unparalleled comfort. However, behind its splendid facade lies a poignant tale of love, loss, and lingering spirits. The story of the Omni Mount Washington Resort is inseparable from the lives of Joseph and Carolyn Stickney. Joseph invested his fortune into building the hotel, pouring his heart and soul into every detail to create a masterpiece. Tragically, Joseph Stickney passed away just a year after the hotel's grand opening, leaving his widow, Carolyn, to navigate the future alone. Carolyn Stickney, though grief-stricken, managed the hotel with grace and dedication, transforming it into a social hub for the wealthy and influential. Known for her elegance and charm, Carolyn continued to host lavish parties and entertain guests, maintaining the grandeur that her husband had envisioned. Despite her outward composure, Carolyn's sorrow over losing Joseph never truly faded, and she remained deeply connected to the place where they had shared their dreams. Over the years, guests and staff at the Omni Mount Washington Resort have reported numerous sightings of a ghostly figure believed to be Carolyn Stickney. Unlike tales of vengeful or malevolent spirits, Carolyn's presence is described as melancholic yet serene, as if she is still mourning her beloved husband and the life they could have had together. Visitors often recount seeing a woman in period attire wandering the halls or standing at the windows, gazing out as if searching for something lost. Her apparition is most frequently observed in room 314, which was Carolyn's private suite. Carolyn's ghost is also known to interact with the hotel staff. Employees have spoken of lights turning on and off by themselves, inexplicable breezes in closed rooms, and doors opening and closing without any apparent cause. In the dining room, where Carolyn often dined alone after Joseph's death, the faint scent of her favorite rose perfume is sometimes detected, and tables are occasionally found rearranged as if set for a private dinner. Despite the eerie nature of these encounters, those who have experienced them often describe feeling a sense of calm rather than fear. The Omni Mount Washington Resort stands as a testament to both architectural grandeur and the enduring power of love and loss. Thanks for joining us on this ghostly journey through New Hampshire. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more videos from Beyond Belief. It helps out a lot. Thank you to all of our subscribers. Until next time, guys, keep exploring the unexplained.